Thank you everyone for your practice. So I see Venerable Vineetha has joined us. But before we welcome him, I'd like to say a little bit about a question I get asked a lot about meditation. So there's certain levels of meditation practice, one of which when people just started and they feel like they cannot even stop thinking for 2 seconds. There's always thinking happening, and they become frustrated because of that, not being able to um, stop thinking, control the thinking. Because the question we ask is incorrect, so that's why we approach this practice also incorrect. Meditation for us at this stage is not to stop the thinking. The mind, the function of our mind is to think. We cannot stop thinking, okay? If when you practice, your mind keeps thinking, the only thing we can do is to re- recognize that, be aware of that, and don't let the thinking take us away from our moment, from our breathing, right? So whenever the thinking happens, just be aware of that. Don't try to control that. When you got to a state where that thinking doesn't bother you anymore, you will be able to go, go deeper into your mind. That is where you will find wisdom. You don't need to try to s- always still your mind to have wisdom. The the moment that you are no longer bothered by your thinking, that is where wisdom arises. And that is you go beyond the common consciousness that we all possess. We will go to deeper level of that. We will go behind any kind any kind of emotion or feeling that we have to explore what is the cause of that, right? So meditation will help us with that. But if you still um, upsetting because of the monkey mind, you know, sometimes not trying too hard is the solution. You try too hard, you become crazy. You will hate meditation. You will never sit again, right? So when the mind is doing its job, that is to think, be aware of it, be curious, and sometimes just smile at the thought. That's the best we can do at that moment. All right. So today we have a special treat. That is our Venerable Vineetha. He will share with us his wisdom from very long time as being a monk and a great practitioner. So Vineetha, I'll let you introduce yourself and take it away. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Thai. So I'm so happy to be here. And okay, I don't know where to begin, but
Just a little bit about who you are and
okay,
yeah.
yeah. So uh, I am coming from Theravada Buddhist tradition from Sri Lanka. Um, so yeah, I think that's enough. So Today, actually, uh, the last time I and Venerable Tian met, we had this discussion about right view. And then he asked me, Vineetha, why don't you speak about right view? So this is the biggest, one of the biggest questions that we have. What is right view? Like how we can find the right view. So before I begin, I want to tell you uh, this session is recorded, and don't try to make notes, and also don't try to understand everything. If you understand something, that is enough. Okay. So you may have heard about Venerable Sariputta, who was an arahant from the time of the Buddha. He has this he has delivered this particular sutta called Sammaditthi. That means right view. Yes, that means Sammaditthi means right view. So he clearly says there are many thousands of ways to enter the right view. Okay, so for me, there is a particular way that I enter, or I find the right view. But that method is not gonna work for someone else. So I'm saying this because I find right view within myself. So now the problem is, like, a lot of us, many of us, try to find the right view outside myself, outside ourselves. So the first factor of Eightfold Path is also right view. So simply, what is right view? The knowledge of suffering, or the knowing the first noble truth, which is the truth of suffering. The second one is the origin of suffering. The third one is the cessation of suffering. Okay. The fourth one is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Okay. So many things. Okay, I just want to start with this small video. Okay. All we want to do and know is just to understand this video. I'm sure many of you have watched and heard this story. So let's see how we can read, how we can understand this particular story in order to find the right view within ourselves. So this story is called the story of Kisa Gautami. So we have like 3-minute small video for you. So before we begin, uh, I would like us to watch the video, and then I will talk about, and I will help you understand how we can find the right view. So, Venerable Thian, could you please play it for us? Thank you.
During the time of Lord Buddha, there was a young woman who had just given birth to her first child. She was filled with joy and love for her child and cherished every moment spent with him. But tragedy struck when her child fell ill and died, leaving the young woman consumed by grief and despair. Desperate to bring her child back to life, the young woman carried his body from house to house, seeking a medicine or a cure that could revive him. But no one could help her, and she began to feel hopeless and lost. Then, a wise woman suggested that the young woman seek the guidance of Lord Buddha. She was told that Lord Buddha is a wise and compassionate teacher who can offer guidance and support in times of great suffering. The young woman decided to take the advice and set out to find Lord Buddha. When she finally reached Lord Buddha, she fell at Buddha's feet and begged for help to bring her child back to life. Lord Buddha was filled with compassion for her suffering and told her that it was possible to bring her child back to life, but she would need to bring some mustard seeds from a house where no one had died. Feeling hopeful, the young woman set out to find the mustard seeds. She went from house to house, asking for the seeds and explaining Lord Buddha's condition. But in every house, she was told that someone had died there. She felt increasingly discouraged and disheartened as she searched. As she continued her search, the young woman met many people who had also experienced the pain of losing a loved one. She saw the suffering in their eyes and heard the stories of their loss. She began to understand that death is a natural part of life, and that everyone experiences it at some point. Eventually, after searching through the entire village, the young woman returned empty-handed. She told what she had learned during her search, and Lord Buddha taught her the impermanence of life, and the importance of accepting the reality of death. Lord Buddha explained that death is a natural part of the cycle of life, and that everything in the world is impermanent, encouraging her to let go of her attachment to her child and to focus on the present moment. The young woman finally understood that her child's death was a part of the natural cycle of life and death, and that she needed to let go of her attachment to them. She became a disciple of Lord Buddha and dedicated herself to the spiritual path, finding peace and solace in Buddha's teachings. And
Okay, I think we can play the whole thing. Yeah, sorry.
so, the young woman's journey to find mustard seeds taught her an important lesson about the nature of life and death, and the importance of compassion and acceptance in the face of suffering. She learned that death was an inevitable part of life, but that through mindfulness and compassion, she could find peace and happiness in the present moment. In our lives, we all experience loss and suffering. Whether it's the death of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or a disappointment in our career or personal life, we all face moments of pain and despair. During these times, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed and hopeless, to cling to our grief and hold on to the past. But it's important to remember that nothing in life is permanent, and that everything is constantly changing and evolving. By accepting the impermanence of life and letting go of our attachment to the past, we can find peace and happiness in the present moment. We can learn to appreciate the beauty of life and all its experiences, even the painful ones, and cultivate compassion and understanding for ourselves and others.
So thank you so much. Mm. I want to focus on few things based on this story. The first one is, so everyone told Kisa Gautami, this lady who lost her own child. Everyone told, your child is dead. Your child is dead. You cannot recover him because he is dead. Couldn't she hear that? No, she was not ready to accept it. And even other people told something right, yeah, something true. He is dead, but she couldn't accept that her son was dead because of her attachment, her love, her caring for her child. Okay. Then Everyone told her, but she couldn't accept. She couldn't listen to what is right. Okay, now here comes the most important part. Okay, then she came to the Buddha and she asked, Buddha, can you cure my child? Yes, I can cure. You see, yes, I can recover your child only if you bring a handful of master seeds. Okay, now I ask you this question. Did the Buddha say truth or did he speak false? So now you see, if the Buddha told her, no, 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 your son is dead, you cannot recover him, you cannot cure him. So then she will not even listen to the Buddha as well. What the Buddha did, okay, now you are not gonna listen to me because you are not in a situation that you can listen to me. You are very stressful. You are very emotional now. So I want I want to make you pause, or I want to make you stop, or I want to make you think for a moment. So then the Buddha gave this small task that she could think for herself. Now, don't get misunderstand me. I tell you this. Maybe you can remember this thing very well. Don't try to reject what the Buddha says too quickly. Okay? Don't try to reject what he says too quickly. And the second one, don't try to accept. Remember this one. Don't try to accept what he says too quickly too. Think it for yourself. Try to find what is right, what is right. And then there will be moments in your practice, oh, this is right. When you have that idea, actually, this is right, that is not right. That is only right for that moment. That is only right according to your understanding. So, with your own practice, please do not be so hurried to make judgments that I got this right or that I'm wrong. Okay? Just just leave it out there for some time. I mean, think about it. So, okay, now the second point, which is very, very important. So this lady Kisa Gautami, finally she found what is right. So actually, how did she find what is right? Only through herself. Only through herself. Remember this. Only through herself she could find what is right. So she listened to all other people, but she couldn't get what is right. And she listened to the Buddha and followed his instructions. Buddha really helped her, but But the most important thing is she found what is right through herself. Okay. So in your practice, in my practice, what is more important is try to find right within yourself. Okay. So only through oneself can find what is right and what is wrong. Okay. So that is the first thing. We get to find what is right and what is wrong through only ourselves. That's the first thing. Okay. As long as we make judgments based on others' actions, based on the way others behave, or based on what others speak, you will never find right or wrong. Like you will never find what is right. Okay. So now I want to help you understand, and I'm still making progress on my journey too. So I'm trying to help you understand what I experienced through myself. So now we hear this word again and again: suffering, 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 the origin of suffering, and the cessation of suffering, and the way leading to cessation of suffering. I am bored with all this stuff at some point, you know, because yes, when I lose someone I really like, when I separate from my loved ones, I I am not happy. I feel suffering, and I want to get this particular thing. I want to buy a new car, or I want to buy a new house. I desire for it. When I don't get what I really want, that is suffering too. Okay. And also being with the people that I really don't like, that is suffering too. Okay. So now we know what is suffering to a certain point. Okay. We know what is suffering to a certain point. But there is a very deep level of suffering. Let me tell you this actually. Even before uh, the Buddha or the Prince Siddhartha renunciated, he saw this old person. He saw this sick person. He saw this dead body. He saw this monk or ascetic. And he thought, oh, this life is suffering. That's why he gave up his palace, his normal life. Okay, on the very first day that he realized those things are suffering, he should be enlightened. Okay, He should be enlightened because he knew, oh, getting old is suffering, yes. Getting sick is suffering, yes. But we enter this path with that. Okay, remember, we enter this path with that basic understanding of suffering. But what we really find what suffering is through ourselves. I will use this word. That is so much fun. Remember, that is so much fun. Okay? When you find what is suffering through yourself, that is so much fun. And that's beyond the suffering that we usually think, or that's beyond what we think, or this is suffering, that is suffering. It's beyond that. Actually, when we find what is suffering, that's where we begin to enjoy this life. So now we come to right view. Okay, now I'm talking all these things to help us understand what is right view. So the first thing, Kisa Gautami, she could only find what is right view through herself. Okay, only through herself. So if you are ready to find, if you are trying to find what is right view, observe yourself. Observe yourself. Observe whatever you do. Is this right or is this wrong? Yeah, keep questioning. Keep observing. That's what we call mindfulness. So keep observing, keep questioning whatever you do. If you do not question, if you do not if you are not curious about what is right or wrong, then you will get nowhere. Okay. The second thing is, even the things that I say, or even the things that are written on the books, don't don't accept them very easily, or don't reject them very easily. Just question for yourself. Oh, the Buddha has preached this one, or the Buddha told this. And then you think about it more and more. How you can find that teaching through yourself. So questioning is the most important part when you are trying to find what is right or wrong. Okay? Questioning. When I say questioning, it is either not accepting anything very easily or rejecting anything very easily. At this moment, you will feel, I understood this. Yeah, this is right for now. When you understand more and more, your understanding will change. Your right will change. Okay? And I think Those are the most important two things that I want to tell you through this story. Okay. Now I give you this example, this very simple example. Okay. So when I speak with people, I use this simile, or I use this uh, comparison a lot. So this is my right view, you see. Sorry, this is my right hand. Okay, you see. I call this is my right hand. And this is my left hand. Okay, this is my left hand. I only call this hand my right hand because there is a left hand. Okay, because there is a left hand. I only call uh, this on my left hand because there is a right hand too. If there isn't a right hand, if there is no right hand, then there is no left hand. Okay. So can I tell you that this is my right mouth? Why is that? Why can't I tell you that this is my right mouth? Because there is only one thing. There is only one mouth. So we can't tell this is right or wrong. Okay. Similarly, when there is right, now think about this. When there is right, that means there is wrong. Remember, there is wrong. Do you get me? I will tell you this again. Okay. When there is right, when there is right, that means there is wrong. When there is wrong, that means there is right. Okay. When there is no right, that means then there is no wrong. Okay. When there is no wrong, then there is no right. You understand what I'm trying to say? Okay, good. So you can ask me questions once I'm done, okay? You can ask me more and more questions. I I like so many questions actually. Okay, now the next part. So now same. So I call this uh, happiness. Okay, I call this happiness. When there is happiness, then there is suffering. Okay, yeah. Uh, oh yes, yeah. So you have any questions for me actually?
All right, thank you, Venerable. That was very insightful and profound. And I think right view is an important an important aspect of that determines how we progress on the spiritual path. And sometimes right view can simply be an acknowledgement that what we are holding is not the ultimate truth. that we believe it is to be. So yeah, I think it is something that we have to keep thinking about. And so while you all generate question in your head, I know you have a lot of questions, but I think when you say something, I'm curious, and maybe many of people here are also curious that, you know, you say right view should come from within you, right? You should generate that right view. That is very encouraging, you know, that we have the ability to do that ourselves. But I know these people, some of them are very um, suspicious of themselves. They don't even know what the view that they have is right, if it's right, right? So what if, you know, there's self doubt about the view that they have about a practice that they are doing? So how do we know that the view that we have is even right? So I'm asking for you, okay? For the
Yeah,
sake
yeah,
of
yeah,
you
yeah.
all,
That
I'm asking for
actually,
you.
yeah, that's the key question. That is the key question in our practice. So I speak from my own experience. Remember this very well. You will you will learn this when you practice, when you start your own practice. Okay? When you think you are right, when you think you got the right view, that's the problem. That's where the problem begins. Okay, so I go to the same similarity, like, okay, when there is right, then there is wrong. Okay, remember, when there is right, then there is wrong. Any view, any view, okay, any view that you are holding on to, all are wrong. Okay, when there is a view that you think that is right, then that is wrong. That until you hold on to that, you can't um, you can't go to the next step of your practice. Okay, you can't improve your practice. But you know, on this path, like, we are humans, we make judgments, we come to some conclusions. Oh yeah, I got this right. Yes, yes, exactly right. Exactly right. Oh, now with your own practice. Okay, think. I was now you know, I was meditating earlier, but I didn't do it right. Now now I improved it a little bit. Now I am good. Now I do it right way. That is perfect. I do not want to discourage you actually. I really want to encourage you. Keep practicing, keep practicing. So you will find what is right on your journey, and don't try to accept it, like, don't try to accept it very soon. Just 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 be aware of that. So your suspicion, maybe, especially, maybe for especially for beginners, okay, especially for beginners, when you think you don't do it, you don't understand it right, or you don't, when you think you don't know it properly, that's the beginning of your practice. Don't worry, that's the beginning of your practice. When you know there is something you don't understand, you will try to understand it. When you know you got something wrong, then you will try to find the right way. Okay, so I think I answer your question to some extent, actually, to some extent. I like so. Thank you, Thai, so much for that
No, no,
question.
no, that's great. And also, when in doubt, you always have your Sangha, your community here to support you.
There we go. That's why the Buddha says the whole spiritual life is on the friendship. Okay, so thank you so much bringing that up.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we have Christina and then Chung. Christina, go ahead.
Hi there. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate everything that you said. I'm sure we all do. You're such a pleasure to have. You're so kind. I just taking away what you said, I just have this question for you. What I'm hearing, I'm almost at a year, by the way, of this. I'm not, as good as you yet, but attachment to I'm right. So when you said, when you think that you're right, that's the problem. So I guess when I study and when I read, I'm like, okay, that's how you do it. So I could see how that could be a problem, and to I'd not say reject, but to accept, not to accept things right away, and I guess maybe to experience what's right,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yes.
But that's my question to you. Is that what you mean to is it to not attach to being right, or to being attached to the right view?
Okay.
Thank you.
Christina, thank you so much for that question. Okay, before I begin the question, I want to tell you this. So certain things I speak, sometimes you don't understand. That's totally fine, and you will understand it through yourself one day. Okay. Now we practice, we study, and on our journey we have rights and wrongs. We feel, oh, I understood it better. Remember, that is necessary for this practice. Without that, we can't continue this practice. We Until we get to the final phase or final destination, we have to have right and wrongs. It is something like this. Now, suppose I have never been to Boston City. Okay. Someone give me a 5-page map to go to Boston City. Now I use this map. I go halfway. So now I come to this particular junction. Now I have this question. Should I turn right, or should I turn left, or should I go straight? Right? So we make the decisions according to that, according to the situation, according to the moment. And when we do that, so actually we cannot get attached to a particular thing called something right or wrong. So this is on the way. It happens naturally. That is totally fine. So Christina, I guess I'm clear to you, at least to some extent. Okay, at least to some extent. And yes, I will stop there. Thank you so much. So we have another
Yeah,
question.
so yeah, I also wanna that's right, and I'm also wanna add a little bit here is that the problem is not that when you read something and you say, "Oh, this is how it's done." The problem comes when if someone say that, "Hey, Christina, what you have done so far is so wrong. That is not Buddhism." And what is your response to that? That is how much, that is how how much you understand, how much you progress on the path. If you try to fight, argue with them, then there's still some attachment to that. Maybe you don't really, you know, if someone say that your practice is not Buddhism, don't even try to argue with them. Be aware that what I'm reading, what I'm doing may be useful for me in my context, may not be useful for someone who live next to me, but in a total different context, right? So be aware of that. Um, it's not that always. It's not that you have to be suspicious of everything you read, but be aware that there are more room to learn and to improve. All right, Trung, go ahead.
Hey, thank you for the speech. So I have a quick question. If that had to be right or wrong, because I haven't think about that for so long. On my practice, I think only thing is like it's work for me, it best for me. This method is not good for me. I mean, it's not like it's not fit me, but I kind of not ask myself, is am I a right track or a wrong track? So I just wonder, is that had to be that way, or the only double check is that right or wrong? Because I don't have that question.
Okay. Uh, Thank you so much. Uh, Thank you so much for your question. I'm trying to uh, get answers to your questions. So okay, I will tell you this small kind of my own created simile. Okay, now I'm going to climb this mountain. Okay, I'm going to climb this mountain, and one person told me, "Hey, Vineetha, you should try this way. It's easy." Of course, I'm going to try the easy way. Okay. So now I climb. I try to climb, but I feel, oh, this path, I can't climb the mountain taking this path. I feel that. I sense that. I feel I'm kind of getting lost. Okay. When I know this is not working for me, when I when I fail with it, that is success. Remember, that is success because now you know this doesn't work for me. This doesn't work for me, and this way I can't climb the mountain through this way. Now I'm not gonna take that way. Now I know, oh, I'll have to find another way to climb the mountain. So until we reach the final destination, we remember this. We get lost many, 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 many times. Okay. Even now, some of you, by listening to me, you get lost. That's the beginning of your practice. When you get lost, when you know you got lost, you try to find the way. So uh, I don't remember his name actually.
Trung,
So
Trung.
Trong. So when you know this is not working for you, or I'm not successful with this, so that's where you begin your success. You will experience what I say when you really practice. Okay. Thank you so much for question. And also I want to tell you this. So whatever I say is like a snake. Okay. It's like a snake. So maybe you will get bitten. Okay. But uh, try to you will catch the snake very smoothly one day. Okay. Okay. I think Trong, does that make sense for you?
Yes, very makes sense. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, and one of the benefit of having a sangha here is that there are many people who have walked the path, who are in front of you, who are with you, who are behind you. So we all can support each other whenever in doubt, you know. So don't worry, we got you all. All right, Tyler, go ahead.
Tyler, you are muted. Sorry.
How's that? Good. So the practice of releasing attachment, immediately brings up that like negative connotation that you should, keep people at at a distance and not feel love or, any sort of emotional attachment to that person in any way. Or would you mind going into that a little further?
Of course. Of course. So I'm going to be very direct here.
Mm,
I'm going to be very direct here. Take care of your loved ones. Okay? Be attached to what you want to be attached to. Okay?
mm.
But just observe. Don't worry. Enjoy your life. Okay? This life is to be enjoyed. Okay, I will tell you this. This monk, I don't remember his name. He was sitting under this tree and he was saying, "Oh, this is so happiness." Actually, he was a king, and now he gave up his kingdom and he entered the monastic code. And like he was sitting under this tree and he was saying, "Oh, this is so happy, so happy." Oh, and then you know what other monks thought? Oh, this guy, he is thinking about his pleasures when he was a king. Now he is going to destroy. Okay. So, Tyler, actually, that's a very like a lot of Buddhist people, I would say, hold on to that view. Actually, that's not what it means. So just observe. If you read Satipatthana Sutta, or if you read any meditation guidelines, what does it say? It say, oh, if you taste something, just know that it is tasty, or just know that it is not tasty. Like that's the key thing. Just know you like it or you don't like it. It's We can't get detached from all these things. And I want to tell you this. Okay, now there is this beautiful woman. Okay, and I shouldn't get attached to that. Or like, okay, I would say, a boy is saying, oh, I shouldn't get attached to this woman because in Theravada practice we have it's impure, this body is impure, this and that. Okay. Actually, when you try to reject something, you like that very thought of rejection.
Mm.
Did you get what I'm trying to say? Okay, I tell you, I don't like this phone. I don't like this phone. That means I like something else. I can't say even I don't like this. Or I when I say I want to get detached from it, so then there is myself, something called I. And also when I try to get detached from this, then I attach to something else. Even I don't like in when we get to deeper levels, I cannot be attached to seclusion as well.
Mm.
I cannot be attached to meditation as well. Even the Buddha says, oh, monks, they get attached to their robes, They get attached to their bowels, they get attached to their bed, you know. So yeah, I think yeah. So thank you so much, Tyler, for that question. Hope that's helpful.
Mm.
So the
No, yeah.
idea, yeah, the idea here is to experience life fully.
Mm.
When love arises, experience love. And when death occurs, experience that sadness.
Mm.
I remember a story about a Buddhist master who have so many students, and they admire him for his realization. But one day, his son died suddenly. Then the master, wept and wailed and suffered a lot. And his students were in shock because he talked about non-attachment, life is impermanent. Why did he do that? Why did he cry like that? And they asked him, they confronted him. And
Mm.
he say, yes, life is an illusion, but losing a son is the most painful illusion there is. So he allow all kinds of experiences to be. That is how you also allow all kinds of experiences in life to be. And when you enter the path, you allow you are curious about any kinds of experience, emotion arise in you when you practice.
So would you say denying or fighting your emotions and your feelings would actually in turn actually cause suffering?
That is in itself the problem.
Mm.
Yeah. So that is the second arrow.
Mm.
The first one is the emotion, and the second one is the denying of that emotion, trying to deny, trying to suppress, trying to ignore, you know. So we'll do more exploration, as we go. Okay, and
Mm.
this is a good start. Thank you. Okay, David. David will be the last one because I want to know you, but we kind of run out of time. But we'll do that next time, getting to know each other. Okay, David.
Dear Thai, dear Venerable Vineetha, my question is kind of a two-part question. Do you consider non-judgment to be a part of right view? And the follow-up is how does that relate to, say, non-dual awareness?
David, thank you for your question. I don't understand the second part of your question, like non-dual. Can you explain a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. With non-dual awareness, we were talking about the left hand versus the right hand.
Mm,
And whenever we talk about the right, then there automatically has to be a left. So
yes.
that would be your dual awareness, right? In non-dual awareness, we typically think about things without forming a specific concept of left versus right, right? It's more of a
Now
direct
now
perception
I
of things
understand your question.
before you start attaching your ideas to them. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for explaining it to me. Okay, so when I observe myself, now let me, now I have this book, okay? So I tell you, oh, this book should be kept this way. This book should be kept this way. This is the right way to keep this book. And someone else comes. Hey, Vineetha, no, no, no. That is wrong. This book should be kept this way. This is the right way to keep the book. So, when I observe myself, this happens. Actually, it's not that I try not to make judgments. I want to make myself very clear. It's not that I try not to make judgments. It is I can't make judgments. When I observe, when I very clearly observe, then I can't make judgments because the frameworks that I was thinking this is right or wrong, those frameworks begin to dissolve. That's the thing. So non-judge, non-judgmental or non-judging, it becomes natural to you when you observe your practice. As hope that's helpful, David. So okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Venerable Vineetha, for your sharing. And it's very beneficial for all of us here. And we hope that you, in the future, you'll be coming back with us and share a little bit more. Okay?
So thank you so much for inviting me. So I'm so happy to be here today, and I'm so honored to be being questioned actually. So thank you so much. Keep up with your practice. Okay, I want to tell you this before I finish. If you feel you don't understand anything today, that is totally fine. Okay, that is totally fine. That's where you begin your practice. Okay, thank you so much, Tian,
All right.
for
Thank
inviting
you.
me, and thank you all.